Sam had always been a soldier. He had trained for years, preparing to face the many dangers the galaxy could throw at him. But nothing could have prepared him for the mission that had changed everything. It was supposed to be a simple assignment: infiltrate an alien fleet, gather intelligence, and leave. But things went wrong. The fleet was bigger than expected, and the odds of survival were low. Yet against all odds, Sam succeeded. He destroyed the fleet, saving hundreds of thousands of lives across the galaxy. His name was now known across the stars. When Sam received the message from the Galactic Council, he thought it was just another formal recognition. But when he arrived, he found himself standing in front of someone very different, a noble alien. Dressed in extravagant robes, the alien's name was Xander, and he represented one of the most powerful families in the galaxy. Xander had heard of Sam's mission and wanted to reward him, but Sam was not prepared for what Xander had in mind. "We offer you a gift for your bravery," Xander said, his voice deep and commanding. "Something that you cannot find anywhere else." Sam stood, confused but intrigued. "A gift?" he asked. Xander nodded and motioned for two of his attendants to bring forward a floating chair. Sitting in the chair was a woman, her eyes closed, her body still. Her skin was pale, and her features were delicate, almost ethereal. Sam didn't know what to make of her. He had expected a reward, but this was strange. "This is my sister Rilla," Xander said. "She is a reward for your service." Sam blinked, unsure of what to say. "Your sister?" "Yes, Xander replied. "She is paralyzed and cannot move. She has been like this for years, but as a noble of my family, I offer her to you. She will be yours to care for. It is a great honor, and we are grateful for your sacrifice." Sam felt uneasy. Didn't know what to think. He had been expecting riches or perhaps a powerful weapon, not an injured woman. He tried to hide his surprise and discomfort, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He had been given a reward, yes, but it felt more like a burden. Why? Why her? Sam asked. Xander smiled, his expression unreadable. "She is my sister, and she has been with us for many years. We as a family do not give her away lightly. But I believe your actions have proven your worth. Take her. You are now her guardian." Sam could feel his heart race. This was not the reward he had expected. But he had no choice. The noble had offered him this, and he couldn't just turn it down. He nodded slowly, agreeing to take her. Wasn't sure what would happen next, but he had no idea that his life was about to change forever. Xander's attendants helped Rilla stand, her body stiff and unmoving. It was clear that she could not move on her own. They gently placed her in a transport chair and motioned for Sam to follow. Sam hesitated, still unsure of what he was getting into, but he followed them as they led him to a sleek silver ship that would take them to Xander's home planet. The journey was quiet. Rilla remained silent, her eyes closed. Sam kept to himself, his thoughts racing. Why had Xander given her to him? What was the real reason behind this strange gift? And why was Rilla so still? It was clear that she was not like others. There was something different about her as they arrived on the planet. Sam was greeted by more of Xander's attendants. They led him to a grand building where Rilla was placed in a room that seemed far too extravagant for someone who could not move. The room was filled with soft lights, strange alien decorations, and a large bed. It was clear that everything had been designed to make Rilla comfortable. But Sam couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this than he had been told. "What happens now?" Sam asked one of the attendants. "You will care for her?" The attendant replied, "She will be your responsibility. She needs attention, food, and care." Sam nodded, feeling a sense of responsibility settle on his shoulders. But as he looked at Rilla, he couldn't help but wonder about the strange situation he had found himself in. Why had Xander given him this woman? And what kind of life could he possibly offer someone who couldn't even move? As the attendants left, Sam was left alone with Rilla. He sat down beside her and stared at her pale face. She looked so fragile, so delicate. But there was something in her eyes that seemed to hold a secret. Something Sam couldn't quite understand. The silence in the room was heavy, and Sam had no idea what to do next. He had been given a reward, but it didn't feel like one. It felt more like a mystery he had to solve. And as he sat there, wondering what the future held, he had no idea that this strange gift would lead him down a path he could never have imagined. The days passed slowly as Sam adjusted to his new life with Rila. He found himself in a grand, unfamiliar world. Xander's home planet was beautiful, full of tall, shining buildings and vast open fields that stretched for miles. The air was clean and fresh, and the sky had a soft pink hue that Sam had never seen before. None of this mattered. His thoughts were always with Rila, the mysterious woman who had been given to him as a reward. Rilla's room was large and luxurious. It's decorated with soft colors and strange alien fabrics. She lay in a chair that seemed made just for her, a high-tech device that helped her sit upright. Her body was still and unmoving, her face calm as if she were sleeping. Sam had trouble understanding what had happened to her. She was no ordinary person. There was something about her that made Sam feel like he was missing a part of the puzzle. Despite being given the task of caring for her, Sam felt an awkwardness between them. Rilla never spoke, and Sam didn't know what to say. He spent his days bringing her food and water, making sure she had everything she needed, but it felt strange. She barely reacted, her eyes following him quietly as he moved about the room. Her silence only made the room feel colder. The tension in the air grew thicker every day. One afternoon, after bringing Rila her meal, Sam sat down beside her, unsure of what to do next. He had been told that he was now her guardian, but he didn't know what that meant. He had never cared for anyone like this before. His life as a soldier had been focused on battles, missions, and survival. Taking care of someone who couldn't move or speak was a whole new challenge. Why? Why are you like this? Sam whispered to her, almost as if he expected her to answer. But she just stared ahead, her eyes distant. What happened to you, Rila? Why did they give you to me? He waited for a response, but none came. Sighed, his shoulders heavy with the weight of uncertainty. He had no answers, and the more he thought about it, the more confused he became. Later that night, Sam returned to her room after dinner. We were surprised to see Rila looking directly at him, her eyes wide open and focused. She had never done that before. Sam froze, unsure of what was happening. Was she trying to speak? Was this just another strange moment in his life since meeting her? Rila, Sam asked softly, his voice barely a whisper. Can you hear me? His surprise, Rila blinked slowly, as if responding to him. Then, very faintly, Sam thought he heard a voice in his mind, a voice that was not his own. I can hear you, she said in his head, the words clear but quiet. Sam jumped back, his heart racing. He wasn't sure if he had imagined it or if it was real, but the voice had been so real, so present. Rilla's eyes were still open, but now he could see a hint of something more than just silence. He sat back down slowly, trying to process what had just happened. Did you speak? Sam asked, his voice shaky. She blinked again, her expression calm. I didn't speak aloud, but yes, I can hear you. I can always hear you. Sam stared at her, his mind racing. So, you've been hearing me this whole time, but you never said anything? Rilla's eyes seemed to soften, and for the first time, Sam saw something like sadness in them. I can't speak the way you do, she replied in his mind, but I've been listening. Sam felt a wave of shock wash over him. This was not what he had expected. Rila, who had appeared to be silent and paralyzed, could actually communicate with him. But how? Why hadn't she told him this before? I don't understand, Sam whispered. Why didn't you tell me? I thought you couldn't move or speak. Rilla's gaze shifted slightly, and she responded, I couldn't speak aloud, but I can speak in your mind. The chair. The one I'm in. It helps me stay still, but it also blocks me from speaking out loud. It's not that I don't want to. Sam processed her words, trying to understand. It seemed like Rilla had been trapped in her own body, unable to speak or move in a way that others could see. But she had the power to communicate, to connect with him. Sam felt a growing sense of awe and wonder at the complexity of her situation. "Why did Xander give you to me?" Sam asked, feeling a need to understand the truth. "Why me?" Rilla was silent for a moment before responding. "I am not just any noble's sister," she said slowly. "There is more to my story than what Xander told you, but I cannot tell you all of it just yet. Not everything is as it seems." Sam felt the weight of her words. There was so much more going on than he had first realized. He had thought that Rilla was simply a reward for his actions, a gift to him for his bravery, but now he knew that there was something much deeper behind this. As he sat in silence, looking at her, Sam realized that this mysterious woman, this strange and quiet person, was not someone he could easily understand. But he also realized something else. He couldn't just walk away from her. There was a bond forming between them, even if he didn't fully understand it yet. And that bond would change both of their lives forever. Sam had never imagined his life would take such a strange turn. Caring for Rilla felt different from anything he had ever done. She was not like the others he had met in his life. She wasn't just a noble or a soldier. Rilla had her own story, her own secrets, and as Sam spent more time with her, he began to understand just how complex she was. The first few days were quiet. Sam brought her food, helped her with the chair that kept her in place, and made sure she was comfortable. But the more he cared for her, the more questions filled his mind. He wanted to know more about her past, and why she had been paralyzed for so long. But whenever he asked, she would give him only small answers, so she was hiding something. At night, Sam would sit by her side, watching her sleep, wondering what was going on inside her mind. Her stillness had always been unsettling too. But now, after their first conversation, he felt a deeper connection. Even though she couldn't move or speak in the usual way, Rilla had a way of reaching him. Her mind was open, and through their silent conversations, they began to understand each other in ways Sam never thought possible. One evening, Sam sat with Rilla. She spoke again, her voice clear in his head. "Sam," she said, her tone soft, "I know you are confused. I know you have many questions. But I can't answer everything right now." Sam looked at her, surprised that she had spoken. "I don't understand. Why can't you tell me the truth? What is it that you're hiding?" Rilla's eyes were calm, but there was a deep sadness in them. "It's not that I am hiding anything from you, Sam," she replied in his mind. "I want to tell you, but some things are complicated. Some things are dangerous. You must understand that the power I have, it is not something to be taken lightly." Sam leaned forward, his curiosity growing. "What power?" "I've seen you stand up. I've seen you move when you shouldn't be able to. What's happening to you, Rilla?" She remained still for a long time, as if trying to find the right words. Finally, she spoke again. "I am not just a normal woman. I am a noble, yes, but I am also something more. The abilities that I have come from my family, from my bloodline. But these abilities are not fully understood, even by my own people." Sam didn't know what to say. He had always thought of the alien races as strange, different from humans. But Rilla's words made her sound even more mysterious. "So you're telling me that you have some kind of power that no one understands? Is that why Xander gave you to me?" "Yes," Rilla replied, "but it's more complicated than that. My family's power is meant to stay hidden, right? But when you completed your mission, when you saved those lives, something inside me changed. I don't fully understand it, but it seems that the energy from your victory triggered something in me, something that I had long forgotten." Sam stared at her, trying to process her words. "So, my victory ... made you stand up?" he asked, unsure if he heard her right. "Yes," Rilla said softly. "I was paralyzed because I had a connection to my family's power, but it had been sealed away. The chair I was given helped keep me still, but it also blocked that power. When you completed your mission, it was as if a spark was lit inside me, and now I am able to move, to stand. But the process isn't easy. The power is difficult to control." Sam was quiet for a moment, his mind racing. "But why give you to me? Why not anyone else?" Rilla's gaze softened, and she seemed to hesitate before answering. "Because you are the one who triggered it. You are the one who brought this change. It was fate, Sam. You didn't just save lives. You gave me back something I had lost. and now we are connected. I cannot explain it fully, but I believe our destinies are linked. This power is something I cannot control alone. I need your help." Sam sat back in his chair, trying to make sense of it all. His life had gone from routine missions and battles to something far more complicated. He never asked for this, but now he felt as if there was no way out. The bond between him and Rilla was growing stronger, and with it came a deep sense of responsibility. He wasn't sure if he was ready for this kind of responsibility. There was something in his heart that told him he couldn't walk away. "How? Can I help you?" Sam asked, his voice serious. Rilla's eyes met his, and for the first time, Sam saw a flicker of hope in them. "I don't know yet," she replied, "but I believe we will figure it out together." The next few days passed in a blur as Sam continued to care for Rilla, but now there was a new purpose to his actions. Every time he helped her, every time he spoke to her, Sam felt a deeper connection to the mysterious woman who had been given to him. He didn't know where this journey would take him, but he knew that he couldn't back down. The bond between them was too strong, and the secrets of her past were just beginning to unfold. As he sat beside her one night, looking at the stars, through the large windows of her room, Sam realized that his life had changed forever. He had come to this planet as a soldier, but now he was something more. He was Rilla's guardian, her partner in whatever strange destiny awaited them both. And with that realization came a new understanding: he was no longer just a soldier. He was part of something bigger, something that could change the fate of the galaxy. The days felt longer now, and Sam couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to change. Rilla was more than just a quiet, paralyzed woman in a chair. Was a mystery, and every moment with her revealed something new. Sam found himself growing more protective of her, but he also began to sense that he was becoming part of something much bigger than himself. Rilla's condition, once still and calm, had begun to shift. She had been standing more often, slowly, as though her body was getting used to movement. Sam had never seen her stand before that first time when she had gotten up on her own. He had assumed it was a one-time thing, a strange glitch in her body's condition. But as the days passed, he saw her attempt it again. The process seemed painful, as though her body was not fully ready for such a change. But the more it happened, the more Sam noticed that her strength was growing. One morning, Sam entered her room to find Rilla sitting up on her own, her body steady and her eyes focused on him. She was no longer the fragile woman he had met. Something had changed. He wasn't sure what it was, but it was clear she was not the same person she had been when he first arrived. "Rilla," Sam asked, his voice soft as he walked closer to her. "Are you okay?" Rilla looked at him, her expression unreadable. There was no fear in her eyes anymore. Instead, there was a calm certainty, something Sam hadn't seen before. "I'm better," she said, her voice clear, though still quiet in his mind. "The power within me is waking up, Sam. It's stronger than I thought." Sam knelt beside her, his heart racing. He had always felt a deep connection to her, but now he realized that connection was more powerful than he could have ever imagined. "But how? What's happening to you?" Rilla took a slow breath and looked down at her hands, which had always been so still. Now they twitched with life. "I told you, my family has abilities. But they're not just abilities, they're linked to something ancient, something that has been hidden from most of the galaxy for centuries." Sam watched her carefully. Her words were starting to make more sense. She had mentioned her family's power before, but now it seemed clearer that whatever was happening to her was part of something much bigger. "What do you mean hidden?" Sam asked. "Hidden from whom?" Rilla's eyes met his, and for a moment he could see the weight of everything she had been through in them. "Hidden from the galaxy. My family has kept these powers secret because they are dangerous. If anyone knew the full extent of what we can do, they would try to take it from us. They would try to control it." Sam felt his pulse quicken. "You're telling me that this power is inside you? And it's waking up now?" "Yes," Rilla whispered. "It's waking up because of you. You triggered it when you completed your mission. Your actions brought out something in me that I never thought I would regain. But now, I have to learn how to control it. I'm not sure if I can. Sam stood up, his mind spinning. But you stood up, Rilla. You moved. How is that possible? Rilla's gaze softened, and she stood up slowly, steadying herself as she used the wall for support. It was clear she wasn't used to standing, but there was a strength in her that hadn't been there before. My family's power is tied to the energy of the galaxy itself. We can connect with the very core of things, planets, stars, even people. When you saved so many lives, the energy you used, the strength you showed, awakened something in me. Watched her closely, trying to understand. So this power has been in you all along? And I didn't know about it until now? Rilla nodded. Yes. But it's not just power for healing or strength. It's something that could change the galaxy. If used correctly, it could bring peace. If used wrongly, it could destroy everything. Sam felt a chill run down his spine. The weight of what Rilla was saying was heavy. He had been given a gift, yes, but it came with a responsibility far greater than he had ever imagined. What do we do now? Sam asked, his voice quiet. I don't know, Rilla said, looking out the window, but I can feel it. Something is coming. I don't know what it is yet, but I know that we have to be ready. There are forces out there that would do anything to control this power. Sam turned to look out the same window. The stars seemed to stretch on forever, but he knew that everything was changing. He had thought he was just a soldier on a mission, doing what was right. But now, he was part of something much bigger. His connection to Rilla wasn't just by chance, it was fate. And he had a role to play in whatever was to come. We'll figure it out together, Sam said, more to himself than to her. I'll help you control it. Whatever happens, I'll be here. Rilla smiled at him, a small but genuine smile. I believe you, Sam. I don't think I could have come this far without you. For the first time since they had met, Sam didn't feel alone. The responsibility ahead of him was daunting, but he knew he wasn't facing it alone. Rilla was no longer just a mystery or a gift from an alien noble. She was someone he had come to care for deeply, someone who was now a part of his future, and together they would face whatever challenge awaited them. Sam had never felt more unsure of what the future held. Each day with Rilla brought new surprises, new revelations about her abilities and their shared connection. He had always been a soldier trained to fight and survive. But this was something entirely different. He had been thrown into a situation where the stakes were not just his life, but the future of the galaxy itself. The more Rilla spoke about her family's powers, the more Sam realized how little he understood. He knew the basics. She had some sort of ability to connect with energy with the very forces that made up the galaxy. But it was clear now that her abilities were far more complicated than just healing or strength. There was something ancient, something far more dangerous in her bloodline, something that could change everything if it was misused. But despite all the questions that lingered in his mind, Sam couldn't help but feel a strange sense of peace. When he was with Rilla, there was a bond between them now, something stronger than anything Sam had experienced before. He had come to care for her, to want to protect her. Even if he didn't fully understand everything about her, one evening, as the two of them sat together in a room, Sam finally gathered the courage to ask the one question that had been on his mind since the beginning. Rilla, Sam began, his voice steady but serious, why didn't you tell me everything? Why did Xander give you to me? What's really going on here? Rilla looked at him with a calm expression, but there was a sadness in her eyes, a heaviness that Sam had come to recognize. She had always been careful with her words, but Sam knew she had been holding back, needed the truth now. I couldn't tell you everything, Sam, Rilla said quietly. There are things in my family's past that are too dangerous to reveal. The power I have, it comes from an ancient bloodline, a family that has been protecting the galaxy for centuries. But we've always kept it hidden, even from our own people. Sam leaned forward, his curiosity growing. Why hide it? Why keep it a secret? Rilla paused for a moment, as if weighing her words carefully. Because the power we possess is not just a gift, it's a curse. The energy I can control has the potential to destroy entire worlds if it's used incorrectly. My family has always known this, and we've spent generations trying to protect the galaxy from the dangers of our own power. Sam listened intently, trying to understand. So, your family has been hiding this power for all this time, but why did Xander give you to me? What does that have to do with anything? Rilla's gaze turned distant, and for the first time, Sam saw a flicker of fear in her eyes. Because my family believes that the time has come to unlock the full potential of our abilities. They think that you, someone from outside our world, someone with no ties to our family, might be the key to controlling it. You were the one who triggered the change in me, Sam. Your actions brought something inside me back to life. And now my family believes that you and I are connected in a way that no one else can understand. Sam felt his heart race. The weight of her words was heavy, and the realization hit him like a wave. He wasn't just a soldier who had saved lives, he was now part of something much bigger. He was connected to Rilla's family's power too, something that could either save the galaxy or destroy it. You're telling me that I triggered this? Sam asked, his voice barely a whisper. Yes, Rilla replied. When you saved those lives, when you fought against impossible odds and won, the energy you used, it awakened something in me. Now my family believes that we have a role to play in shaping the future of the galaxy. Ow! But it's not just about power, Sam. It's about control. You can't let anyone else use this power, not even my family. The galaxy must be protected, and it's up to you and me to make sure that it is. Sam stood up, his mind racing. The responsibility was overwhelming, but he couldn't ignore the truth that was in front of him. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a part of something much larger, protector of the galaxy, someone who had to learn how to control a power he didn't fully understand. So what now? Sam asked, his voice filled with uncertainty. What do we do with all of this? Can't do this alone. You don't have to, Rilla said, her voice firm. I'll be with you, Sam. Together. We can figure this out. We have to protect this power, and we have to make sure that no one misuses it. If we fail, the galaxy could fall into chaos. But if we succeed, we can bring peace. Sam looked at Rilla, his heart heavy with the weight of her words. He had come here as a soldier, with no idea of the dangers that lay ahead. But now he had a clear purpose, to protect the galaxy, to protect Rilla, and to make sure that the power she carried would never fall into the wrong hands. I'm with you, Sam said, his voice strong. Whatever happens, we'll do this. Together, Rilla smiled at him, a genuine smile, the first he had seen since their journey began. Thank you, Sam. Together, we can change the fate of the galaxy. As Sam looked into her eyes, he realized that this was just the beginning. Their journey was far from over, and the future was uncertain. But one thing was clear, they were in this together. And no matter what came next, they would face it side by side. Sam and Rilla stood at the edge of something bigger than both of them. The weight of what they had learned hung heavily in the air. Rilla's powers were not just a gift, they were a responsibility, one that both of them had to shoulder together. But despite their growing bond and the understanding they had gained, the path ahead was anything but clear. The future was uncertain. Sam was beginning to understand just how difficult the road ahead would be. For the past few days, Sam had been helping Rilla practice using her abilities. She was still unsure of herself, still learning how to control the power that had awakened inside her. Sam had seen her try to stand again, to move without the support of the chair. But each time, it was like her body was resisting. She wasn't used to this new strength, and it frightened her. Are you okay? Sam asked, as he watched her struggle to push herself up from the floor. Her hands trembled slightly, but she didn't give up. I don't know, Rilla admitted. Her voice low. It's hard to control. The energy inside me it's more powerful than I thought. Every time I try to focus, it feels like it's slipping out of my reach. Sam took a step closer to her, offering his support. Not alone in this, Rilla. We'll figure it out together. Rilla looked up at him, her eyes filled with doubt. I don't know if we can. I can feel that the power inside me is growing stronger. But it's not just about strength. It's about balance. If I can't control it, it could destroy everything. Sam's heart tightened. Responsibility was becoming clearer with each passing day. He had known this wouldn't be easy, but seeing Rilla struggle, Seeing how much she feared her own power made it real. This wasn't just a battle for the galaxy. It was a fight for Rila's life, too. "I'll help you, Rila," Sam said. "Firmly, we can find a way to control it. We just need time." But even as he spoke those words, Sam knew they were running out of time. Rila's family, the ones who had hidden their power for so long, were beginning to stir. The messages Sam had received from the council had become more urgent, more insistent. Xander and others in the noble houses had been watching Rila's progress, waiting to see if she would be able to control her abilities. And now it seemed they were growing impatient. "We don't have time," Rila said quietly, her gaze distant. "My family will want to use me for their own purposes. They'll want to control me, control the power inside me. They won't care about what happens to the galaxy. They'll only care about using my abilities to their advantage." Sam clenched his fists. He had known from the beginning that Rila's family had their own plans, but now it seemed like they were getting closer. They would stop at nothing to harness her power, and Sam couldn't let that happen. He had to protect her, but he also had to protect the galaxy from what could happen if the wrong hands got hold of such dangerous power. "I won't let them take you," Rila Sam said with determination. "We'll leave before they can get to you. We'll find a way to stop them." Rila shook her head slowly, her expression troubled. "We can't run forever, Sam. My family is too powerful. They won't stop looking for us." Sam stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We don't have to rue. And we'll face them together." But even as Sam spoke those words, he knew it wouldn't be that simple. The power Rila held inside her was too great, too dangerous. And there were too many people out there who would do anything to control. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing: he couldn't let Rila face it alone. Later that night, as they sat in her room, Sam and Rila discussed their options. They spoke of their next moves, of the people who would be hunting them, of the risks they would face. The silence between them was thick, filled with unspoken fears. Sam could see the doubt in Rila's eyes, and he could feel it in his own heart. They were both afraid of what was to come, and of the power they couldn't fully control. "I don't know if I can do this," Rila whispered, her voice breaking the silence. "I'm afraid of what I might become. The power, it's so strong. What if I can't control it? What if I hurt someone?" Sam looked at her, his heart aching. "You're not alone, Rila. We'll find a way. We're in this together." Rila's eyes met his, and for the first time, Sam saw a glimmer of hope in them. She was still uncertain, still afraid of what the future held, but in that moment, Sam knew they were both fighting for the same thing. They were fighting for their survival, for their future, and for the galaxy that depended on them. "I believe in you, Rila," Sam said softly. "We can control it. Together, we can make sure this power is used for good, not evil." Rila nodded, her expression softening. "I hope you're right, Sam. I really do." And as they sat together in the quiet of the room, they both knew that the struggle was far from over. The path ahead would be filled with challenges, with enemies who would stop at nothing to take Rila's power for themselves. But Sam was ready. He was ready to face whatever came next, because he wasn't just fighting for Rila's life. He was fighting for the future of the galaxy. The days had grown darker, and the tension was thicker than ever. Sam and Rila knew that time was running out. The power inside Rila was becoming stronger, and every day she struggled more to control it. They could feel the presence of the forces that wanted to control her, lurking just beyond the horizon. The galaxy, it seemed, was on the edge of a new chapter, one that could either be shaped by Rila's power or destroyed by it. As the days passed, Rila's abilities continued to grow. She could feel the energy surging through her, a force unlike anything she had ever experienced. Her body was no longer the fragile, still woman Sam had first met. Now she was stronger, more confident. But with that strength came a fear she could not shake. "I don't know how much longer I can keep this under control," Rila said one evening, her voice low with concern. "Every time I try, it feels like it's slipping away from me." Sam sat beside her, watching her closely. He could see the struggle in her eyes, the uncertainty that had taken hold of her. He had seen her stand, seen her move in ways she never could before, but now it was clear that this power was not something that could be easily controlled. It was as if it had a mind of its own. "We'll figure it out," Sam said, trying to reassure her. "We've been through so much already. We're stronger together." Rilla turned to him, her eyes softening. "I don't know what's coming, Sam, but I can feel it. My family. They're preparing for something. I know they won't stop until they have what they want. They won't stop until they have me." Sam's heart sank. He had known that Rilla's family would come for her, but hearing her say it out loud made it all the more real. He had no doubt that they would stop at nothing to take control of her power. And with each passing day, Rilla was becoming more of a target. "They won't take you," Sam said firmly. "I won't let them." Rilla gave him a small, sad smile. "I wish it were that simple. The truth is, Sam, they're too powerful. My family has resources that we can't even begin to understand. And if they find us, if they capture Meath, they'll force me to use my power for their own gain. The galaxy won't stand a chance." Sam's fists clenched, but he knew Rilla was right. Her family was one of the most powerful in the galaxy. And they had always kept their power hidden. Now it was no longer hidden. It was alive, and it was drawing the attention of everyone who wanted to control it. "So what do we do?" Sam asked, his voice steady. "We can't hide forever," Rilla replied. "But we can't run either. We have to face them, together." Sam nodded. He had known this day would come, but he wasn't prepared for how hard it would be. Always thought of himself as a soldier, someone who fought for what was right. But this was different. This was personal. Rilla wasn't just another mission. She was someone he cared about deeply. "We'll fight," Sam said. "We'll do whatever it takes to make sure they don't control you. You don't have to do this alone." Rilla looked at him, her gaze steady. "And what if they come for us, Sam? What if we can't stop them?" Sam took a deep breath, his mind racing with possibilities. There was no easy answer. They couldn't hide from Rilla's family forever, but they couldn't fight them head-on without a plan. It seemed like an impossible situation. But one thing was certain, they couldn't just give up. "We'll find a way," Sam said, his voice firm. "We're stronger than you think, Rilla. Together we can do this. We'll find a way to stop them, to protect the galaxy from their control." Rilla stared at him, and for the first time in a long while, a small spark of hope flickered in her eyes. "You really believe that?" "I do," Sam replied. "I've seen what you can do, Rilla. I've seen you grow stronger every day. You're not the same person you were when we first met. You've become more than just a woman in a chair. You've become a force to be reckoned with. And I'll stand by you no matter what." The words seemed to settle in Rilla's heart. She had always feared her power, feared what it could do to her, but now she realized that it wasn't just about her. It was about the future of the galaxy. If she could control her abilities, if she could harness the energy within her, she could protect everything she cared about. "You're right," Rilla said, her voice steady. "I've been afraid of what I might become, but I can't let that stop me. We can't let fear control us. We have to fight for what's right." Sam smiled at her, his heart swelling with pride. That's the spirit. Together, they began to make plans. They would have to face Rilla's family and whatever forces they had at their disposal. But Sam and Rilla were not alone. They had each other, and they had the strength to fight. The future was still uncertain. But one thing was clear. They were ready. Ready to face whatever came their way. Ready to stand up against the power that threatened to control them. And as Sam looked into Rilla's eyes, he knew that together they could change the galaxy.